Polygon here. You need to take shelter from this storm. It could put down a tornado at any time. There's a lot of spin in the atmosphere today, so not going to take much for these storms to put down a tornado. Are you seeing anything, Rebecca?
I did want to pass along that the National Weather Service said that a report from the Black Hawk County Dispatch did say that there was a tornado, would have put that about 5 miles south of Hudson near the intersection of Rhinebeck Road and Highway 63. Now, the National Weather Service is saying that there's nothing on the ground at the time, but we do see a little bit of rotation there. So they're not reporting anything currently, but they put out that warning because if the storms produce, then it could possibly produce again.
Absolutely. We do have a tornado watch out pretty much near and south of Highway 20 until 9 o'clock here this evening. So thunderstorms today, again, have that potential to put down tornadoes, and you can see where the watch is right now. Not quite sure if this is going to get extended further to the north, but we do have a warm front that's kind of draped out between the Highway 20 and Highway 30 corridor. To the south of that front, temperatures are in the 60s, even some 70s, especially around Iowa City and Washington. It's also bringing in a lot of moisture for these thunderstorms to feed on. But if we can get a thunderstorm to latch onto that warm front, again, right around Highway 20 to Highway 30, could give it a little extra spin, and that's where we're seeing that tornado potential kind of right now in southern Black Hawk County, where there is a tornado watch and also a tornado warning that has been issued till 6:30.
And we did have also earlier today tornadoes that had been reported in other parts of Iowa. So we have this warning right now, but it was further out to the west in other parts of the state that there were tornadoes that were confirmed that did touch down. Brandon was talking about the rotation. We just have such intense rotation going on right now that it's possible that a tornado could be produced once again. And we already did get a report right now. There is no confirmation, but this does include the Waterloo area, just north of Raymond, Armour, and would just be the rotation really east of the Isle Casino area, and it goes toward Dunkerton. But as Brandon mentioned too, these are moving very fast today, so it is not going to take long for the rotation to continue to move. And in fact, our radar scan may be behind where it actually is, so kind of toward the Armour area, and like that rotation likely staying southeast of the Waterloo area as well right now, Brandon.
Absolutely. So there's a rotation again just to the east and south of Waterloo, where you're kind of seeing these greens, lighter greens and reds. This is the area of rotation. Again, we are using the Des Moines radar, so green is going toward the radar, reds are going away, so you can kind of see where that rotation is. Again, just to the northeast of Isle Casino and to the southeast of Waterloo, and it is moving to the northeast. If you live in Armour, Raymond, even in Dunkerton, you don't want to take any chances today. These storms are going to be pretty much on top of you very quick. Storm motions usually 25 to maybe 45 miles per hour. Not the case today. They are really booking about 50 to 60 miles per hour. So you can see right now, right around the Evansdale area is where we're seeing some of that rotation with this latest scan here of our radars. But we don't have a confirmed tornado on the ground. This is radar indicated, but with the amount of spin, especially in the lower levels of the atmosphere, the lower probably 1,000 kilometers or so, it's still possible that this spin, these clouds can reach down to the surface. So we did see reports, or actually confirmation of tornadoes in central and southern Iowa today. This is something that we are closely following. Again, the rotation right around the Evansdale area there in Black Hawk County.
Yeah, and we can go to kind of the setup. Oh, I went too far there, but the setup situation behind what's happening today. And we have this warm front that's moved on in. So that's really been the trigger now. And as this continues to lift a little bit further to the north, and that low pressure system starts to move closer to, that's where a lot of that spin is coming from. And the Weather Service is also monitoring the Fayette, Clayton County area too. So that's just kind of north of where we're watching this storm in Black Hawk County.
Yeah, there you see the area of low pressure. This is going to move up through northern Iowa into Wisconsin tomorrow. So the focus for tornadic storms here is right along this warm front. Again, if you're south of the front, it's very actually pleasant day. A lot of sunshine, temperatures in the 60s and 70s. Our dew points, how we measure that moisture, in the 60s. So it feels kind of humid out there. Certainly doesn't feel like late March. So you're getting a lot of this instability building up south of this front. And as it continues to lift to the north, if any of these storms here can latch onto this front, it can give it a little extra kick in rotation and certainly increase the potential for tornadoes. But you're kind of seeing this line here from about Waterloo all the way down to Keokuk County. This is more more of like a dry line feature. So behind that, the moisture really cuts off. It's a lot of dry air here. So if you're west of this line, the severe threat is pretty much going downhill pretty quickly. And then this cold front's going to move across the region here later on tonight. But again, if you're ahead of that feature, right along the warm front, that's where we're seeing the strong storms, the potential tornadic storms as well. And here's the latest scan of our tornado warning again in Black Hawk County. It does look like the threat is a little bit east of the Waterloo area. Kind of hard to pick up where the actual rotation is. Probably right around the Raymond area, kind of south of Armour is what I'm seeing.
And the National Weather Service is also saying that there is a report of from a spotter of a funnel cloud on the east side of Waterloo. So there they go with a new tornado warning that has been posted now that includes that, because I think they're just seeing that second little area of rotation near the Waterloo area.
Yeah, you can kind of see it right in here, right around Waterloo. Looks like you're seeing a little bit of rotation there as well, maybe around the Armour area, down around Elk Run Heights as well. So these storms mean business today, and we've been talking about it the last couple of days. If we get thunderstorms today, the potential is there. They could produce tornadoes. We don't have anything confirmed with this storm as of right now, but certainly with the nature of these storms today, the ingredients that are in place, you can't rule out any tornadoes from these storms here today. Just a lot of spin in the atmosphere. If we can put the polygon on here so we can kind of show where this polygon is. Back it out. There we go. So if you're in the polygon, you need to take shelter right now. These storms are moving 50, 60 miles per hour or higher. So they're zipping right along, and you just don't have a lot of time to get to your safe place. So that's why if you're in this polygon right here from about Waterloo down to the south, Raymond, even Dunkerton on the northern edge of this polygon, these storms are going to be headed in your direction here in about the next 10, 15 minutes, maybe even less, considering how fast these are moving. So if you are in this red polygon, you need to take shelter right now. If you have a basement, that's preferably the way to take shelter. If you don't, the lowest floor in an interior room, and certainly away from windows as well.
So we also, I guess the Weather Service said that that new tornado warning was supposed to just be a severe thunderstorm, but they're going to let it go. They did also issue a severe thunderstorm warning that is going into Benton and Buchanan counties. So that is for likely some strong winds, maybe some hail being produced. I saw some reports of pea-sized hail. Nick Stewart's actually driving north through that area too. So Nick, what are you seeing out that way?
Yeah, right now we're just kind of on the Tama and Benton County lines, approaching the Dysart area right now. And you can take a look outside. We are seeing a rainbow, also some pretty scary looking clouds out there. There's definitely been rotation in these storms that we've been watching as they go into northwestern Benton County. That's something we're really keeping an eye on. But the other issue too is that we're watching, we did get a pretty good blast of winds as the storm passed over. That's probably why that severe thunderstorm warning was issued for up to 60-mile-an-hour winds. Again, we're on the back side of these storms now as they move through Benton County. That is where that severe thunderstorm warning is now in effect for 60-mile-per-hour winds and some small hail as well. And you can see in the picture right up there, there's a bit of rotation that's occurring with this storm as well. A little too early to say whether or not it's a wall cloud that could possibly form a tornado, but there's definitely been some rotation with that, and we'll keep an eye on it here out in the Road Warrior. Rebecca?
Thanks, Nick. And yeah, we can see obviously with these storms, they're racing so fast that, I mean, it's not going to take much to get those strong winds.
Absolutely. 60-mile-per-hour wind gusts, certainly possible. You can see the big polygon here, the orange polygon. That's a severe thunderstorm warning. Takes up quite a few counties, Benton, Buchanan County, as well, it's not into Black Hawk County, but you can see right here in Benton County, also into Buchanan County until 6:45. These storms are moving to the northeast. They're zipping along 50 to 60 miles per hour. So a lot of that wind, especially in the upper levels of the atmosphere, can reach down to the surface. So certainly 60-mile-per-hour wind gusts can't be ruled out, perhaps some small hail. The tornado warning, though, the one we're really concerned about, still up into Black Hawk County. That's where the potential of a tornado could touch down to not anything confirmed. But you can see the red polygon from about Waterloo down towards Raymond and even into the Dunkerton area. If you're in this red polygon, you certainly want to take shelter right now from this storm. As we go to our velocities, this is how we can kind of measure the spin within the storm, the rotation. And it's kind of messy. You don't really see anything jumping out at me for this picking up a rotation from the storm. Maybe a little bit right there. Again, kind of southeast of the Waterloo Regional Airport. It's kind of what I'm seeing. Rebecca, just kind of to the southeast of Dunkerton.
There may be two spots here too, and I also wanted to point out how fast this is moving, because if we back this up and you actually go back to initially, we were watching reports coming out of the Hudson area, possibly of a tornado that was reported in the southeast of Hudson, and that was from the National Weather Service, relayed from emergency officials there, and that was 5:48. So we're talking about, we're like 20 minutes later, and that has way shot up. I mean, I can measure it here. We're talking, you know, 13 miles away in not that long of a period of time there. So we're also seeing kind of that fluctuation in terms of the intensity of the spin. So we're not seeing a whole lot of it right now, but it is still possible that there could be a tornado that is produced, and likely would be kind of on the brief side from what we've been seeing in Iowa recently today.
Yeah, a lot of spin, a lot of wind today, especially from not just the surface, but about 5,000 feet above the ground. Even when you get it to around 30,000 feet, the jet stream level where the airplanes, airplanes like to fly in that altitude, there's just a lot of not just turning of the winds as you go up, but a lot of speed as well. So that was what we call wind shear, and that plays a big role in these rotating storms today. And they're moving so fast. Again, your response time to get into shelter, you just don't have a lot of time. So that's why you need to take these warnings seriously and get to your safe place as soon as possible, especially if you live in these red polygons. But again, here is our tornado warning, maybe a little bit to the south of Dunkerton here, where you're seeing some of these greens and reds. Perhaps the rotation with that storm still a little bit hard to pick up. It's kind of washed out a little bit. But if you do, again, live in the polygon right up through here, Dunkerton, down toward Waterloo, you need to be in your shelter place right now.
I did want to also just take a look at what's going on down to the south here. And we do have, there's a little bit of kind of rotation, or at least you can see the strong winds going on through LaPorte City there in those greens. And then a little bit of a spot there around the Highway 20 area. And Nick actually did see that he saw a funnel around the Dysart area. So I'm going to toss it out to him, and he can let us know what he's seeing out there.
Hey, Rebecca. Yeah, we continue now. We're moving east on Highway 8 towards Vinton from Dysart. You can see kind of in this area we're going to zoom in on right here. Still the pesky wall cloud I was referring to earlier. It's getting a little better organized. Briefly, we did have a brief funnel with this storm just north of the highway, Highway 8. It does not appear to be tornado imminent at this time. However, it does show that the storm continues to have signs of rotation also in Benton County. So this whole line is definitely severe, and the whole line has a lot of wind shear involved, as you've been saying. So we're going to keep an eye on it, just making sure that it's going to stay up in the cloud, and hopefully it stays that way.
All right, we'll take a look at the severe thunderstorm warning right now for Benton and Buchanan County until 6:45. You can see some of these greens and reds. The greens, this is the wind going to the radar, which is around the Quad Cities, which is down here towards the southeast. There you see where Nick Stewart is around Dysart.
Show you where, in reference to where he was, because that's that area where he was seeing the rotation.
Yeah, he's looking back into the storm, so he's seeing that rotation there. What looked like perhaps a wall cloud trying to form just to the east of Dysart here into Benton County. So again, this storm is racing up to the northeast, 50, 60 miles per hour. This warning is producing wind gusts of around 60 miles per hour. Can't be ruled out. Some small hail, some heavier downpours as well. Right now, there is no evidence of a tornado with this storm, but again, as you saw there from the pictures of a road warrior, Nick was seeing some rotation within that storm, so we'll have to see what the National Weather Service wants to do with this warning, but something that we are monitoring right now, again, for Benton and Buchanan County until 6:45. There you see some of the stronger winds just to the north of LaPorte City as this storm system continues to track to the northeast, so it is wrapping around some stronger winds. Obviously why they put out the severe thunderstorm warning for gusts of around 60 miles per hour. Maybe a little bit of rotation starting to move up there into Black Hawk County as well. But the tornado warning, again, still for Black Hawk County until 6:30. We don't have anything confirmed, at least the last check that we had with the National Weather Service. But again, if you are to the northeast of Waterloo up toward the Dunkerton area, still kind of hard, difficult to make where that rotation is with our velocities here. Can kind of pick up the spin within our radar, but not really seeing a whole lot here. But again, this is moving to the northeast around 50, 60 miles per hour.
I'm also wondering if the booth can, do they have our P-scan due up here in the Weather Center? We might have to route it, but I do have an image from Twitter of what would be possibly a tornado that was around the Hudson area. There we go. So there you can see the funnel cloud, the lowering that's coming down here, and possibly it touching down. We did have a report of that earlier. I've also seen some photos of funnel clouds around the Waterloo area, so that's why they are putting this tornado warning out, why they're keeping it out right now. So something we will have to just keep an eye on there. Actually, did they let those go? Let me see.
Yeah, I don't see the polygon anymore.
Yeah, they did cancel them.
Okay.
Actually, just a minute ago. So they've canceled those warnings. We do still have the severe thunderstorm warning going on, but we can let go of the continuous weather coverage for the moment.
Okay, yeah, so tornado warning has been expired for Black Hawk County, so that's certainly good news. We do have that severe thunderstorm warning, though, for Benton and Buchanan County. I don't know if you want to put the reflectivity on real quick, Rebecca, and we'll kind of show you the storms in regards to the warning. But again, there is the severe thunderstorm warning polygon. This whole line of storms moving to the northeast around 50 to 60 miles per hour. Benton and Buchanan County until 6:45. So you still want to take shelter from this storm here, as it will be moving through your area as it's zipping along to the northeast. So with that said, the tornado warning has been canceled. We'll keep an eye on this. Not sure if we're going to go back to our newscast or...
You want to go to break?
Okay, all right, we're going to go to break. Here's a live look at our road warrior right now. You can kind of see the rainbow there, but we're going to toss it to break here real quick, and we'll be back with some news here on Iowa's News Now in just a little bit.
We're connected to Iowa's News Now at 6, connecting you to the news stories and events that affect you, plus your accurate weather first forecast, on air, online, on every screen. We are Iowa's News Now. Opt in for news alerts in the palm of your hand from Iowa's News Now.
A better grip right when you need it. The 2020 Nissan Altima. Get a low $199 per month lease on the 2020 Nissan Altima.
Once again, spring is upon us. Window Depot of Eastern Iowa introduces the ideal improvement to your home this spring, the triple pane window. Normal replacement windows have only 2 panes of glass, but our window has a 3rd pane that allows for industry-leading energy efficiency, sound reduction, and condensation resistance. Now for the best part, it costs less than the average dual pane window. That's right, you get
And good evening once again. We are back with you. A tornado warning, a new one has just been issued here. This is for Buchanan and Benton County until 7 o'clock. Those thunderstorms that were under the severe thunderstorm warning are now, we do have a tornado warning for that same line again. Benton and Buchanan County, this is until 7 o'clock, and you can see the expansive nature of this tornado warning that does cover northern Benton County, also pretty much all of Buchanan County until 7 o'clock for this line of storms. So if you are in Independence, just to the north of Walker, anywhere in Buchanan County in this polygon, you need to take shelter right now.
And Brandon, they're saying that this is observed, and I'm going to go out to Nick because he is that way, and we'll just see what you see out there, Nick. I know you were seeing rotation earlier.
Hey, Rebecca. Yes, so right now we are just in the northwestern part of Benton County. We're getting some hail right now. Earlier, we did see indications of rotation and a funnel. We are currently trying to get out ahead of the storm again. We are south of the area of rotation. The area of rotation is just off to our north right now, so we cannot see anything visually at the moment, but it's back there in the rain. And given the history that we've seen with funnels and rotation, I definitely would take the storm very seriously because it likely did touch down.
Yeah, you can actually see the rotation going on around the Jessup area. That's the area that the National Weather Service was pointing out. So if we can get back over here onto the radar at least, and you can see clearly, I mean, that's the best signature, or the strongest signature at least we've seen today in our area.
Yeah, this is a pretty tight couplet, pretty strong low-level rotation that we are seeing just to the north of Jessup. So if there is a tornado, it is likely down in this area right now. Nick Stewart trying to get up to that location from where he is. But we do have a tornado warning. Again, this is for northern Benton County and also Buchanan County until 7 o'clock. So what we're seeing here is, again, some pretty tight rotation just to the north of Jessup. And we're using the Davenport radar. So the greens are going toward the radar. The reds are going away. So you can kind of pick up this area of rotation. Again, just to the north of Jessup, moving into Buchanan County. So if you are in this location, if you are in Buchanan County, you certainly need to take cover. These storms are zipping right along, 50 to 60 miles per hour. There's really not a lot of time for you to kind of wait around and take shelter. You need to go in there right now if you are in this polygon. Again, just to the north of Jessup, we are seeing some pretty tight rotation with this storm.
Yeah, and they're saying that they're moving northeast at 60 miles an hour, Brandon. I mean, this is what we've been talking about, that we were going to have fast storm motion today. But, you know, if you're in the Jessup area, let's see if we can get any other towns to show up here. And so heading really northeast in between Dunkerton, Littleton area toward Hazleton, Fairbank. So these are some of the spots where this rotation is likely going to continue to head.
Yep, right here north of Jessup, maybe a little bit northwest of Jessup as well. So if you live in any of these towns, Hazleton, Bryansburg, Otterville, and Littleton, you certainly need to take cover. These storms are zipping right along. Going to be in your area here in just a matter of minutes. 60 miles per hour is the storm motion. A lot of spin, a lot of wind shear in the atmosphere. That's one of the ingredients needed to get tornado potential. So these winds are really zipping. They're rotating. So any thunderstorms that we get today, there is the potential of rotation and the tornado potential as well. So again, as we go to our velocity signature, kind of just to the north of Jessup, maybe a little bit northeast and a little bit northwest in a couple areas of rotation. That one looked a little bit better.
We're getting a little range folding here, some radar.
Yeah, we're kind of a little bit of ways away from the radar. So as that happens, the radar beam is really angled up really north of these, or higher up these storms. But you can see here the track. We're putting it on Oelwein and Maynard between now and 6:36.
Yeah, and the Weather Service did also mention here that we have been, you know, Nick was saying that he saw a funnel cloud on this line further down to the south around Laporte City. So you can see kind of some little notches happening around there too. And it's possible that we could see some other areas of rotation happen along this line. So that's why the whole line is warned right now and they're keeping an eye on it. But the strongest is really around that Jessup area, northwest of Independence, kind of north of Jessup now, heading just east of Dunkerton.
Yep, kind of right in this general area just to the north of Jessup. These are moving to the northeast into Buchanan County, and they're zipping right along 50 to 60 miles per hour. So they're going to be on top of you pretty quickly. So you need to take this seriously, get in your shelter place. If you have a basement, go to your basement now. Otherwise, an interior room on the lowest level of your floor. Certainly want to be away from windows. These storms mean business today. We've been talking about the last couple of days. There will be tornado potential with these storms. We do have a warm front that's kind of draped right in this general region, and if any of these storms can kind of latch onto that warm front, that would kind of really the tornado potential, increase the tornado potential. So that's kind of what we're seeing right now with these storms.
Yeah, and just going to have to keep an eye on this and see if we can get any more reports. And Nick continues to head that way, and we'll go out to him and see, as he continues to head to the north, exactly if he's seeing anything else in any of the rotation on that line.
Hey, Rebecca, I believe you just tossed to me. Yeah, right now we are just approaching the Vinton area on the south side of that tornado warning. Yeah, we're getting incredible wind right now out of the south. The storm is definitely dangerous in a number of different respects. And so we are watching very, very closely this storm up to our north. That's where we had that funnel earlier, the big wall cloud potential as well. But I want to spin it around. Something you alluded to earlier is that off to our south, this is kind of our main focus now. We do have more storms trying to pop off to our south, which could quickly strengthen, as you just saw with these storms going through the Benton and Buchanan County areas. So we're going to try and get ahead of these storms off to our south. Those would inevitably be approaching areas like Cedar Rapids and points north. So we're going to keep an eye on it. Either way, these storms are quite dangerous, heavy rain, and very, very gusty winds.
And we'll show you the tornado warning right now again for northern Benton County, also pretty much all of Buchanan County in this tornado warning. The end of a couple of areas of rotation that we are watching. Again, there's the line of storms kind of moving right along that warm front, so that does pose the potential for tornadoes. But you can see from pretty much Oelwein all the way down to Blairstown is where this line of storms does extend.
And Brandon, they are saying that from the Buchanan County Emergency Management, they're saying a tornado on the ground near Fairbank from spotters there.
Okay, so
that would be near the Jessup area.
Okay, we do have a confirmed tornado, and we kind of saw that with the rotation with our velocity signature that we were seeing. We're kind of again
so there's Fairbank.
Yeah, we're kind of in between radars right now. So there's Fairbank, and where do they say in relation?
They said just near the Fairbank area.
Okay.
And yeah, they're just saying. Let me see, I'm getting the new information from them, but they're still continuing that tornado warning, and producing storms are located along that line from Fairbank to Brandon, moving east at 45 miles an hour now. So they're saying that there was a confirmed tornado on the ground, and that's the latest we got just about 3 minutes ago.
All right, so they do say confirmed. We do have spotters out there with the potential for tornadoes today. So they do confirm that tornado is on the ground. If we can go back, I don't know if we can switch the radars, a little bit of a better velocities here to kind of pick up something, but there we go. There we go. Again, just south of Fairbank, it looks like some pretty strong rotation right around the Littleton area. That's a little bit better there. You can kind of see these reds and greens. So just to the north of Littleton, Fairbank is up here. So this is where we're seeing the rotation with that storm. Again, confirmed tornado on the ground. This is moving to the northeast. Probably going to be a warning getting into Fayette County. I wouldn't be surprised here within the next several minutes or so if this continues to move in this direction, if we do continue to see this rotation as it holds together, which we're definitely seeing that tight couplet right now. So I would think the warning would be extended up toward the Oelwein area into Fayette County. We'll have to see what the National Weather Service does. This is La Crosse area. This is the Davenport area. So they're really two different offices that are putting out some of these watches and warnings. So that's something we'll keep an eye on. But there you see the rotation just to the north of Jessup, around the Littleton area there in Buchanan County, Buchanan County.
Yeah, and just going further down the line here, we can kind of see there's a little area just north of Brandon there, another area of rotation. Yeah.
Yeah, so a couple areas of rotation that we're watching with this line of storms, tornado warning for Benton and Buchanan County until 7 o'clock. The tighter couplet is, again, just to the north of Jessup around the Littleton area, and then just to the north of Brandon, you're seeing some rotation there as well. The greens, again, moving toward the radar, which the Davenport radar is this way. So the greens this way, the reds, kind of see that rotation right there just to the north of Brandon. But we did have a confirmed tornado up around this tight area of rotation just to the south of Fairbank, around the Littleton area there in Buchanan County. So this is a very fluid situation, something you need to take seriously. These storms mean business today, and we do have that tornado watch, which is out until about mid-evening tonight. But again, as we go back to the velocities, tight rotation just to the east of Dunkerton, and this is moving to the northeast pretty quickly, about 60 miles per hour. So between Fairbank and Littleton, here's the newest scan we got in. Doesn't look as tight as what we saw, but still definitely a threat with that confirmed tornado here being reported just minutes ago.
Yeah, and now Weather Service was saying that the report was at around 6:18, so just about 6 minutes ago, the tornado was on the ground near Baxter Avenue and V56 Road, so likely is well to the northeast of there now. The National Weather Service has issued a severe thunderstorm warning with a tornado possible tag up to the north here. So that would include the Oelwein area into Fayette County. So they're not issuing a tornado warning yet, but I wouldn't be surprised, like you said, if they do decide to do that. So they're they're just waiting.
Yeah, a lot of spin in the atmosphere, so sometimes these will drop a tornado, then it'll go back up, and as these continue to zip along, it may drop another tornado. We've seen that throughout the afternoon here, especially in central and southern Iowa. So these storms race into the northeast. There's that severe thunderstorm warning polygon again for parts of Fayette County. Fayette is not included. You can kind of see the line of the polygon. Oelwein, you are in that as well. There you see Strawberry Point just to the east of the polygon. So this storm is moving into this general region here within about the next, several minutes or so. But again, it is a severe thunderstorm warning. That doesn't mean you need to let your guard down, as this rotation with this tornadic warned storm in Buchanan County right now, it is going to move into Fayette County. Still could produce a tornado. So you still, again, you can't let your guard down. You still need to take shelter if you are in that severe thunderstorm warning polygon.
And I'm continuing to look to see if I can get any pictures of anything, but we have seen now a report from the National Weather Service saying that we do have reports of wall clouds around the Independence area. And I also wanted to point out, you can actually see the inflow, the winds kind of flowing in on that backside there, which is likely where that rotation is still existing, just south of the kind of Fayette County line.
You can kind of see the hook pendage right there for tornadic storms. We like to see kind of like we call it a hook echo. So you can kind of see the storm, the inflow. The storm's kind of really pulling in some of that warm, moist air, and then on the backside of it, you can kind of see air kind of descended back behind that storm. So kind of right in there is where you get your enhanced rotation, and you can get your tornadoes to develop. And likely this is kind of right near the warm front as this continues to lift to the north. So still some instability, a lot of moisture in there, and the wind shear, there's a lot of that in the atmosphere, another ingredient that is needed for tornadic storms. So a lot of the ingredients are in place today. That's why we do have a tornado watch, and we've been talking about this setup the last couple of days, that any storms we get today have the potential to put down tornadoes. And we did have one that was confirmed with this specific cell here in Buchanan County, but you can kind of see the rotation right there up in northwestern Buchanan County. This is going to cross into Fayette County. So if you are in the Oelwein area, anywhere here into Fayette County, the time is now. Take shelter from this storm. These are zipping right along 50 to 60 miles per hour. So they're going to be in your location pretty quickly. So your time to take shelter, you just don't have a lot of time today, because considering how fast these storms are racing along.
And Nick is on this line, so we're going to go out to him. He says he's seeing a lowering, or what's called a wall cloud. So Nick, what are you seeing out that way?
Yeah, right now we are just north of the Vinton area. I don't know, it looks like we're starting to see on my end, it looks like a little bit of an area of rotation developing. This would be on radar kind of north of North Auburn, southwest of Brandon. We're definitely seeing within the last about 30 seconds to a minute, this little area right here has gotten a little bit more intense, a little bit more organized as well. This is on the southern portion of that tornado warning. We don't have anything on the ground with it right now, but there has been some signs of rotation with it, and we're about to start moving a little bit more east, so hopefully we can get out ahead of this rain to get a better view.
Yeah, you can definitely see a lot of parts of the storm are just, I mean, the whole line's rotating, so it's not surprising that we're starting to see that lowering and some of the rotation happening there. So if some more intense rotation starts to pick up, as Nick was talking about, then you may see a funnel cloud come out of that wall cloud, and that would be the precursor to a tornado. So, I mean, I zoomed into that area there, Brandon, where he's talking about near Mount Auburn and Brandon.
Yeah, yep, you can kind of, well, there's Mount Auburn, and here's Brandon. So you can kind of see some rotation just to the south of Brandon right here, just to the north of Auburn. So again, as you alluded to, Rebecca, there's a lot of rotation within these storms today. These are starting to become a little bit more organized, a lot of wind shear in the atmosphere, a lot of spin. So not surprising, we're seeing a lot of areas of rotation within this line of thunderstorms. As we continue to move further to the north, there you see Independence. As we get further into Buchanan County, the rotation we were watching earlier just to the north of Littleton, it looks like it's kind of right in here just to the east of Fairbank, maybe toward the Hazleton area as well. This is about ready to cross from Buchanan County into Fayette County. So if you are in Oelwein or anywhere here in eastern or southeastern Fayette County, you certainly need to take shelter from this storm. You do have a severe thunderstorm warning for Fayette County, a tornado warning here for Buchanan County, but regardless of the severe thunderstorm warning, you need to take it seriously, because this rotation is moving into Fayette County, certainly can put down a tornado. There was one confirmed with this specific cell here within about the last 30 to 40 minutes.
Yeah, and the National Weather Service hasn't really been saying anything else, but I did want to mention that even if we're not seeing a actual tornado come with this or actually be produced with this system, we're still looking at the potential of seeing some winds up to 60 miles an hour or so. And on top of that, you get winds that, and the storm's moving so fast that it is, even going to be stronger at times. But seeing kind of two or three peaks of those areas of rotation, kind of around the Oelwein, just south of Oelwein, around Independence, and then just down to the south of Independence. And there's been a report of, wall clouds, multiple wall clouds along this line. Yeah, so there's the strongest area of rotation we're seeing right now, just moving into southern Fayette County. There you see Oelwein. So if you're in Oelwein right now, certainly shelter from the storm. It's going to be moving pretty close to your area. Then the line extends down into Independence, seeing a little bit of rotation around the Independence area. And these storms continue to move further to the south into Benton County as well. And now they have issued that tornado warning for Fayette County. So I'll go back to the reflectivity so we can actually show the polygon, but not surprising there.
Okay, so there you see the red polygon right here. Again, we just told you that because this was a severe thunderstorm warning, to not let your guard down, as this rotation and this storm in Buchanan County was going to move right into your county for Fayette County. So, and the likelihood of that rotation sticking around with that storm was pretty high. So the Weather Service pretty much thinking the same thing there. Tornado warning is in effect for Fayette County. This is until 7:15. This does include Fayette. It also includes Oelwein. If you are in this polygon, it is your time to take shelter right now. These storms, I can't stress enough, are just moving so fast. 50 to 60 miles per hour, so they're going to be on you in a matter of just minutes. It's, the storm that is moving into Fayette County right now, it's crazy just how fast it zipped right on through Buchanan County. So again, not a lot of time to take shelter.
And the National Weather Service is just saying this is radar indicated. There's also been some reports of hail in those areas, mostly pea-sized hail, but we could see up to quarters with this storm. And they are not saying that there's currently a tornado touching down, but the rotation is probably right over, or at least just east of the Oelwein area. It certainly is. So again, around Oelwein, if you are in Oelwein right now, certainly take shelter from this storm. We've seen evidence with a lot of the wind shear in the atmosphere today. These can drop down a tornado, then it can go back up in the clouds as these storms continue to zip along. It could spin up another tornado. So we've certainly seen the history with this specific storm. We saw that with other storms in central and southern Iowa here earlier today. So if we can put the reflectivity back on real quick, we'll kind of show you where this line of storms is, and you can see kind of the core just to the north of Independence, likely putting down some pea to maybe quarter-size hail with this as well. Certainly a lot of lightning. These white dots are the lightning strikes, so it is producing a lot of lightning. That certainly is dangerous. Some heavier downpours, gusty winds, and of course the potential of tornadoes. They're saying confirmed tornado on the Fayette County line just south of Oelwein right now.
All right, so if we can go back there, we'll put the velocities on.
Yeah, you can see that rotation there just south of the Oelwein area.
Yep, just south of Oelwein, right in this general area, we are seeing
large tornado on the ground just about 2.5 miles southeast of Fairbank. Some damage reported, details unknown.
Okay, so there you go. A large and confirmed tornado is on the ground just south of Oelwein. You can kind of see the rotation.
So we get, so I'm assuming that was the Fairbank one that moved into there.
Yep.
Yeah. So just because they're saying southeast of Fairbank, lots of information going on here. So there may be two ongoing, or at least one, that one that moved out of Fairbank and toward the Oelwein area.
Again, tornado warning 7:15 for Fayette County. So we're going to kind of move the radars around here. And we're kind of in between three different radars, Des Moines, Davenport, and La Crosse. So this is kind of the better velocities that we're getting here. So again, I'm going to kind of point out the rotation to you. You can kind of see Oelwein, the rotation right here, moving into the Oelwein area. We do have a confirmed tornado on the ground. So if you are in Oelwein, you certainly want to take shelter. If you are anywhere in Fayette County, you want to shelter from the storm right now. Confirmed tornado is on the ground. It moved just to the east of Fairbank, which you see over here. And there is Oelwein. The rotation is right here. So again, Oelwein, you are under the gun right now. Take shelter. Tornado warning is in effect for Fayette County until 7:15. We also have a tornado warning for Benton and Buchanan County. That is until 7 o'clock. So these storms zipping right along 50 to 60 miles per hour. You can kind of see some other areas of rotation just to the northeast of Independence. And again, that rotation right around the Oelwein area. Then we'll go to Buchanan County. You can kind of see some rotation there around Independence just to the north, and some more rotation just around the Oelwein area as these storms are moving to the northeast around 50 to 60 miles per hour. We'll go back to Nick Stewart. I don't know where Nick is at in relation to these storms. Nick, where are you seeing?
Yeah, right now we're just northwest of Vinton. We're trying to start punching up towards Buchanan County. We're actually passing the Urbana area, excuse me. We're passing, about to pass over I-380 through Urbana, heading north up to Independence area. That's kind of where we're trying to get out ahead of these storms. Again, as you've kind of been alluding to, they've been moving so fast. It's once you kind of get behind them, it's impossible to catch back up. So we're trying to race back up to the north. Right now I'm setting course for Manchester, and we'll kind of keep an eye on the storms for now. But right now we haven't seen anything new really imminent, but we're keeping an eye on it. We're starting to get out ahead of the storms, which should get us some time to get us out to get closer to where that confirmed tornado is.
All right, sounds good. Tornado warning, though, for Fayette County. This is until 7:15. There you see Oelwein. The storm's kind of wrapping around right here. The inflow of the storm, it's pulling in that warm, moist air, and you can see how the air spins right around on the backside of that storm. So again, if you're in the Oelwein area, you want to shelter right now. The storm is moving to the northeast, going to be near Albany, also Wadena and Elgin between now and about 7:04.
And it's going to say Maynard too. Just that's real close to it.
Yeah, and Maynard. Yeah, there you see Maynard right there. So again, if you are in this polygon right now, the storm is heading towards your region, and it will be there pretty quickly. These are zipping right along 50 to 60 miles per hour. But again, right around the Oelwein area, we did have confirmation of a large tornado on the ground there in southern Fayette County, and these are moving to the northeast around 50 again to 60 miles per hour.
And the latest is that just at around 6:33, there was a spotter that was on the storm saying that there was a funnel cloud rapidly developing, and then we got that report around the 6:32-33 time of a large tornado. So it's possible that things developed really quickly there, and you can see we saw some of the intense tornado that happened there, and the Weather Service is also reporting that damage did happen. So this is a tornado that has done damage, may still be on the ground, and let's go to the latest velocity here to see. And still certainly a sign of that there could be a tornado being produced.
Yeah, you can kind of see where these reds and these greens are close together. This is where we're seeing that area of rotation just to the north of Oelwein. But if you are in Oelwein, certainly you want to be in your safe place right now. Hopefully you got there over the last 10 or 15 minutes or so. Even before that, we were watching these storms in Buchanan County. We told you not to let your guard down in Fayette. These are moving into your region. They are in your county right now. So that area of rotation right around the Oelwein area. This is moving to the northeast again, about 50, 60 miles per hour. So they're going to be on your town, in your town very, very quickly. So your time to react today is not a lot.
And at, let's see, 6:29, there was a report of a large tornado on the ground doing damage around the Littleton area. So that's just that same area that we were talking about, I believe, around Fairbank and such. So, there have been now multiple reports of damage actually occurring with this storm.
All right, and there you see the Road Warrior as well. Nick Stewart is out in the Road Warrior. I don't know if, Nick, you want to give us an update as to kind of your current location, what you're seeing right now?
Yeah, sure, Brennan. We're just about to cross into Buchanan County from Benton County. We're on Highway 150. We're still behind where the bulk of the rotation is right now. The problem is these storms are moving so incredibly fast. When they don't have to follow roads, it makes their lives a lot easier to get out ahead of us. So we're trying to get out ahead. I can say from our perspective, when looking at the southern portion of this tornado warning for portions of Benton County, we don't see anything that looks imminent in terms of tornadic potential. It appears to be all to the north of us for the time being. So again, we're going to continue moving northeast. We're going to try and get up to Highway 20 and then blast east to try and get ahead of this thing to kind of keep everyone else with extra warning downstream.
All right, as you heard Nick say, these storms are zipping right along. He can't even keep up with them because of just how fast they are moving. So he's well behind this storm in Fayette County, and I don't even know if he's going to be able to get to it because these are moving faster probably than he's driving right now. But again, if you are north of Oelwein, you can kind of see the rotation couplet right here, right around Highway 3, just to the north of Oelwein, moving to the northeast. If you're in Maynard, also Fayette, you certainly need to take shelter right now. This storm system is going to be right in your location in just a matter of minutes. These things are moving very, very fast.
Yeah, no, we don't have any really additional information. They are just saying spotters reported a tornado a few minutes ago along the Fayette County line just south of Oelwein. The circulation has broadened out, but they're just going to continue to watch. So what they mean by that is we look at typically these tight green and orange or tight red and green meeting together, and now we're starting to see them kind of spread a little bit further apart.
Yep.
So we're not seeing that really tight rotation anymore, which could mean that the tornado has lifted, which would be good because a large tornado doing damage is not what we want. But it's possible that the circulation could pick back up once again.
Yeah, and this came down from northern Buchanan County, so right around the Fairbank area as it crossed into Fayette County, right along the county line to Buchanan and Fayette County. There was a large tornado that was confirmed, and we don't know if that has lifted back up into the clouds. Certainly that couplet has weakened. Maybe now with this new scan coming in, maybe it's tightened up just a little bit more to the north of Oelwein. But if you are in Maynard right now, you need to take shelter. This storm is going to be on you in just a matter of minutes. And again, this has produced confirmation of a tornado. We don't know yet if it's still on the ground, but regardless, if it is not, it can still produce. We've seen that before with a couple storms here across Iowa today. So this rotation, again, right around Highway 3, just to the north of Oelwein, where you're seeing these greens and reds, right where they meet. That is where the strongest rotation is right now. Again, Maynard, you see up in that way. It is moving to the northeast. The further, if we can, we'll back it out a little bit, give you a more kind of a wider picture of the tornado warning. There you see Buchanan County, pretty much all of Buchanan County in the tornado warning right now. Certainly the stronger area of rotation is in Fayette County, and the red polygon kind of moves through central and all of eastern and southern Fayette County. That is where the tornado warning is in effect until 7:15. That's where we're seeing that strong rotation right around the Oelwein area.
And let's also just kind of touch on the situation here. And we do have that tornado watch that you've been mentioning that is out until 9 p.m. They extended that to the east toward Dubuque now, and they've let it go in Tama. And once this line passes you, you're pretty much done. And we've also been talking about the fact that they're going very fast. So that is great news. But the setup is that we do have this, this warm front that's lifted north through the area. When you're talking about a warm front, you're talking about a lot of wind shear, and this is a particularly strong one, plus the area of low pressure. So where those meet and where the cold front meets, that's called a triple point, and that is just a whole lot of wind. And we also have incredibly strong winds up above our heads in the jet stream that's also aiding in these storms today.
And there you see another tornado warning just across the border in western Illinois. So south of this warm front, we're seeing a lot of moist air, a lot of warm air. Southern Iowa, some of our southern counties, Iowa City was even in the 70s today. Our dew points, I haven't had a chance to talk about dew points a lot here already. We're still very early on in the spring. Dew points are something you're going to get more familiar with as we head into the summer months. That's how we measure the amount of moisture. So anytime we get dew points in the 60s, especially the 70s, which is more common in the summer months, it's more of a really moist and humid air mass, and we saw those dew point temperatures well into the 60s, again, south of that warm front. And I know this is kind of...
It's a lot.
Yeah, it's a lot here that you're looking at, but the red numbers are the temperatures. So you can see from Cedar Rapids down to the south, temperatures in the 60s and 70s. The greens are the dew points, and you can see in Cedar Rapids down into Washington County, dew points are in the 60s. So that's a very warm and humid air mass. Not typical what you would see here in late March. So with that said, and with these arrows, it's the wind direction coming out of the south. So we can kind of see where that warm front is set up right in this general area. But I also want to take you out back to the west. Look at these green numbers. These dew points are in the 30s. That is a lot of dry air. So there is a frontal boundary kind of draped right in through here from about Tama County down into Keokuk County. That is where we're starting to see that separation. And if we go to Nick Stewart, Nick, what are you seeing? It looks like, do you have something on the ground right now?
Nothing on the ground right now. However, there is definitely a funnel. We saw it. We're in the RFD, the rear flank downdraft. We got hit by some really strong RFD on the south side of this. It looks like it's more lifted up in there right now, but there was definitely a pretty pronounced funnel just up to about our 10 o'clock. Up in that very heavy rain as well. So this storm, it really quickly intensified. This is probably just south of Independence, approaching Winthrop. This circulation that we're on right now is really rapidly intensifying. We're watching it in real time as the winds on the backside of it really kick up and likely are trying to induce some spinning up into this storm. Again, this is the southern part of that tornado warning, approaching Highway 20 south of Independence in Buchanan County.
Yeah, you can see the rotation there that's kind of picked up some there just south of Independence, and that's west of Quasqueton. So
we'll
that's kind of how, as Nick, you kind of just heard him there saying it picked up really fast. That's the case with this line. It's going to ebb and flow, and that's why the whole line is warned, and they're keeping an eye on it, because we're going to see those periods of time with this much wind shear in the atmosphere, which is much spin. You can see it change very quickly. So you can see that there's definitely some lowering going on. As Nick said, he did have a report of a funnel cloud, so we're going to have to just watch and see if anything does touch down, because this line has an evidence of producing tornadoes already, Brandon.
Yeah, and the bases of those clouds look pretty low to the ground as well, which is also favorable for perhaps an imminent tornado. So you're seeing a lot of that coming together right now. Just to the south of the Independence area, the circulation looks like it's right in this general region, right along pretty much Highway 150 and Highway 20, kind of where that intersection is we're picking up that rotation. So Nick again is looking into the storm, and you can kind of see, and we saw that there in the Road Warrior shot. So this is an area of interest right now. That storm has rapidly intensified with that rotation. So you are in a tornado warning as well for Buchanan County. So Independence, back toward the east, Doris, also Winthrop. You need to be in your safe shelter, your safe place right now. These storms mean business today. They're zipping right along 50 to 60 miles per hour. So they're going to be on top of your location in just a matter of minutes. You're not going to have a lot of time to react, to get to shelter. So that's why you need to take it seriously right now. But we're watching that area of rotation again south of Independence, right along the Highway 150 on Highway 20 corridor. Further to the north, we do also have a tornado warning. This is for Fayette County until 7:15. Does include Oelwein, also Fayette, and back points to the south and east. The rotation that we were watching kind of east of Fairbank, right along the Buchanan County and Fayette County border, county line. We did get a report of a large tornado that was on the ground at that time. That was several minutes ago. That rotation zipped right across the Oelwein area, now moving to the northeast. It looks like right now it's kind of south and east of Fayette, right in this general area. So Fayette, you need to be in your safe place as the storm is moving into your region here momentarily.
And Brandon, I did want to mention that the National Weather Service is saying that they have seen some reports of damage around the Oelwein area. The spotters there are saying that the tornado lifted, so that is good news. But they're saying around the Redgate Park area on the west side of Oelwein is where there was some damage happening. And now, I mean, around Strawberry Point, there's just to the west of there's a little bit of rotation. Nick is still mentioning that the funnel cloud there. So definitely some, areas that we're going to continue to have to watch here. And that's why this tornado warnings out. We have one till 7, and I believe the other one's till 7:15.
Yes, Benton and Buchanan County is until 7 o'clock. The one here in Fayette is until 7:15. But this line of storms, a lot of wind shear in the atmosphere. What wind shear is, it's the change in direction with winds, not here at the surface, but about 30 to 50,000 feet up in the atmosphere. So the winds are changing direction. They're also changing speed. They're really moving really fast around jet stream altitude, where planes like to fly around 30 to 50,000 feet. So anytime you get it that strong, you get a lot of rotation in the atmosphere. And if these storms can latch onto a warm front, which we have a warm front draped right around this region, that kind of enhances that rotation, and we're seeing that tornado potential. That's kind of what we were looking at in the days leading up to today, that if we got any strong storms today, any storms to develop, the possibility of tornadoes was going to be there. And we're seeing several areas of rotation as well, just to the west of Strawberry Point, another one just to the north of Oelwein, south of Fayette, right here into Fayette County.
Yeah, and we can kind of zoom in on a couple of these spots, because they're still saying that around the Maynard area here, and it was kind of around Westgate where some of the damage was reported, that there's, still some rotation, still a wall cloud, but no tornado, no funnel. So that's good news. That
is certainly good news. As you alluded to earlier, there was reports of damage around the Oelwein area. We don't know the extent of that damage right now. Again, this is all information that is continuously to come in, that we're trying to sort through, filter through as well.
They're saying damage to trees, numerous trees down in Redgate Park area. And they're just saying probable tornado based on all the spotter reports of a tornado. So that's around the Redgate Park on the west side of Oelwein.
All right. And
then this is looking a little broader, like we might be just dealing with some strong winds between Arlington and Maryville.
Yeah, right along, what highway is this? 187, it looks like, from Maryville to Arlington. And then
this
back,
is the area where Nick is.
Yeah, back down to the south and west into Buchanan County. This is where Nick Stewart was. You can kind of see more broad rotation here, maybe a little bit here just to the west of Quasqueton and southeast of Independence. So this looks more like it's broadening out. I don't know if we can go back to Nick Stewart and see if anything's changed. And it looks pretty ominous where he's at. And give us an update on your location again, Nick, and kind of what you're seeing.
Sure, yeah. Right now, we're about 4 miles south of Highway 20. We are about to enter Quasqueton here. Can see a pretty good storm structure. It's pretty impressively speaking. I don't think it's really imminent tornado threat. However, there's definitely a pretty low-hanging wall cloud with this storm. You can also see the really strong inflow on the right side, the clouds rising up into this storm. So here's kind of the main drag here through Quasqueton, and a pretty ominous sight. The wall cloud north of the city right now, probably passing right over Highway 20. Again, it doesn't look like it's really imminent going to be producing a tornado, but the storm structure tells me that it is still rotating, at least in the upper levels of the storm.
Yeah, these storms pretty strong today. As Nick mentioned, you can't see it there now. A lot of course, the trees and the houses right there as he's going through Quasqueton. But it was pulling in some of that warm, moist air, feeding into the storm. And we did see that kind of a lower hanging wall cloud. But you can kind of see some areas of rotation here. Here is Quasqueton, maybe a little bit to the west, perhaps a little bit down to the southwest. And we're seeing multiple areas of rotation with these storms here today. So this is kind of one we're focusing on right now. We do have that tornado warning in effect for at least another 9 minutes here in Buchanan County. So we'll have to see what the Weather Service does here once we get to the top of the hour.
Yeah, and they're still continuing at least a tornado warning in Benton and Buchanan, as we still do have all these areas of rotation here. And we do also have these spots further up to the north that we've been watching, and they do still have some spotters that are, watching that there's still rotation, possibly some wall clouds still there, which is basically step 1. Step 2 would be a funnel cloud being produced. Step 3 would be that funnel cloud touching down. But we have these spots around Arlington. Still, seeing some areas where maybe there's a little bit of rotation going on around Fayette. So just, don't let your guard down. This is a situation that could change very rapidly. And on top of that, they're moving at around, 50, 60 miles an hour, as we've been talking about this whole time. So they have issued a new tornado warning for Clayton County. Now that is until 7:45, which is not surprising. I do want to say that there's these winds that you're seeing here. this area right here is likely kind of broadening out to a point where it's going to be a pretty big swath from around Strawberry Point, maybe back toward Lamont there, and further up to the north, just to the east of Highway 187, that there's going to be a zone of 60-mile-an-hour winds or so coming on through very quickly. And then it's kind of that Fayette area there where I'm seeing maybe the other area of rotation, but I'll take it to the reflectivity, and Brandon, you can kind of look at that polygon that we got there.
Yeah, we're seeing that embedded areas of rotation around the Fayette area. You can kind of see kind of the hook nature of the storm right around Fayette. So this is where, again, tornado potential is still possible that we're watching around the Fayette area. And then back to the east where you see this polygon now in Clayton County does include Strawberry Point, of course, Cedar. Anywhere in this polygon, there is the potential of at least seeing a tornado here with this tornado warning, which is in effect until 7:45. But out ahead of this line, still looking at wind gust of around 60 miles per hour. And because we've been seeing these embedded areas of rotation, it still is possible that that could happen here as this storm makes its way further to the northeast into Clayton County. And again, as you saw that little hook there around the Fayette area, something we're closely watching as well. But this line of storms, you kind of see extends all the way down into Buchanan County. And there you see looks like a tornado warning now for Delaware County as well. So we'll kind of put a fan, kind of a broad fan, again, Strawberry Point, Dundee, Cedar, Manchester, Oneida, and Earlville between now and around 7:30 as this is, again, tracking to the east, northeast, zipping right along 50 to 60 miles per hour. So the time for you to take shelter, you just don't have a lot of time today. Usually, most cases, these storms move anywhere as 25 to maybe 45 miles per hour. They are well above that today. So you're going to want to take shelter if you are in any of these polygons. But we do have multiple tornado warnings. It does appear for much of Delaware County until 7:45. Also parts of Buchanan County as well as these storms are moving to the east. And you can see just these little embedded areas of rotation now kind of to the east of Independence and then just to the north of it looks like Strawberry Point into Clayton County as well.
And I did also want to say that the Weather Service has been saying just multiple areas of rotation. We've been seeing multiple reports of wall clouds of this spinning, and that's why they're extending it so far out for such a long period of time. As we've been seeing signs of it. These storms have produced tornadoes, and they're moving so fast, like we've been mentioning there. So they're watching just along the warm front in that Highway 20 corridor for right now. So we're just going to have to kind of keep an eye on things as they continue to trek to the east. Good thing is that they move fast, so that's good. And
they're going to be out here within about an hour or so. That's how fast they're moving. But normally when we see tornado warnings, when they issue them, they're really small polygons. They don't take up a whole lot of real estate because tornadoes, when you think about it, they're confined to a very small area. But look at pretty much all of Delaware County is under a tornado warning, and the reason why, because Rebecca alluded to, they're seeing multiple areas of rotation within these storms, and they are moving so fast that they're keeping it a broad, wide range under the tornado warning because they're going to be in your location in just a matter of minutes. So Manchester, Ryan, Hopkinton, again, you are all in a tornado warning. You need to take shelter right now. There's no time to waste. Get to your safe place as these storms are moving right along. And again, Strawberry Point back up towards up into Clayton County, also under a tornado warning.
And you can kind of, I wanted to try and get back to that radar image before, but in just kind of north of the Strawberry Point area, there was a little bit of a kind of notch going on there that looked like there was some rotation there kind of that's been moving northeast of the Arlington area and such. So, it's just going to be any point around here. That's why they have these warnings out that we could start to see rotation form. Luckily, right now, we don't have any confirmed tornadoes on the ground. We have had them, though.
Yes.
So it has had a history of doing it.
Yes, we have had confirmed tornadoes on the ground here within the last hour or so. A couple of those were on the ground for maybe a couple minutes. They did do some damage right around the Oelwein area. We did have reports of numerous trees down. That tornado lifted back up, but they can still produce. Again, we've certainly seen that here with the history of this line of storms. But you can see this darker red right here. Most likely we're seeing winds out ahead of this line, 50 to 60 miles per hour, and this does extend all the way down into Buchanan County as well. Perhaps maybe a little bit of rotation there just to the north of Strawberry Point around the Arlington area. And then, but you can, again, you can kind of see the extensive nature of these storms from about, Fayette County up into Clayton County down into Buchanan County.
Yeah, and we have, this tornado watch out as well that goes until 9 p.m. So just to kind of reset here, there have already been multiple reports of tornadoes in the state today. We had this tornado watch issued. Something else that we haven't mentioned was that the tornado watch that was issued for the area was a particularly dangerous situation watch that is very rare.
Yep.
So that is when we're dealing with long track or strong tornadoes. Luckily, we haven't seen anything that's been on the ground for terribly long amounts of time, but we have obviously been dealing with these tornadoes and this rotation that's been happening. Let's go back out to Nick. I'm just curious on anything that he's been seeing or any changes been going on. Nick, what's going on out there?
Hey, Rebecca. Yeah, right now we have kind of given up, I think, on trying to stay out ahead of the storm. So we're going to start heading towards the Oelwein area to investigate some of those damage reports and to kind of get a better idea of exactly what happened up that direction. Right now, though, I can tell you these storms continue to pack a punch. We're seeing some indications of hail, very strong winds, and we have seen rotation, but simply the storm speeds today kind of prevented us from staying out ahead of them, so we're going to start heading towards the Oelwein area.
All right, thanks, Nick. And we do have still some areas where they're watching just for some wall clouds that have formed, and they've let go of the warning for, I did want to just let everybody know, Benton and Buchanan County. So that's going to be let go at 7. They're not extending that, but it does continue up in portions of, or no, they have let go, yes, for part of Buchanan. Other parts of Buchanan and Delaware County still under 745. So around the Independence area, we've been seeing reports of the rotation of wall clouds and Strawberry Point up to Rockhader around the Clayton County area. That's still 745. And we've been seeing rotation, I mean, just all up and down this line, kind of around the Arlington to Strawberry Point to Independence zones so far.
And there you see the line of storms pretty much right around northern Clayton County into Fayette County and extends all the way down into Buchanan County. But the red boxes, the red polygons here, these are tornado warnings that are in effect right now. And you can see the expansive nature of these tornado warnings. Usually when the Weather Service issues a tornado warning, it's for just a very small area. Tornadoes, again, take up very small real estate. They're very small. So it just shows, because of these, how large these polygons are, because these storms are moving very, very quickly and not taking any chances with the multiple areas of rotation we've seen in these storms today. So again, if you are in Fayette County, in Clayton County as well, you certainly need to take shelter. Elkader back up towards Monona, Strawberry Point, Oelwein, you're probably in the clear right now. These storms are past you. Certainly West Union up toward Fayette, you certainly need to be taking shelter as well. Again, noticing some rotation just to the south of West Union toward Fayette, right along Highway 150, maybe a little bit more just to the south of Fayette, kind of right in this general region here as well. So a couple areas of rotation we're still watching here into Fayette County, and here's a new scan. Again, some broad rotation just to the south of Fayette, a little bit more up around West Union. Further to the east then, as we get into Clayton County, there you see Strawberry Point, maybe some embedded rotation here within this cell. Again, this is moving up towards the Elkader region. There you see Highway 13. So if you are in this general area, certainly take no chances, take cover. These storms moving very quickly. They're going to be in your location in just a matter of minutes.
And the Weather Service is continuing. They're just saying around the Volga, near Elkader area, that there could be some rotation around there. And this warning continues now until 7:45. So, I mean, we are definitely seeing some more broad areas here where we do have that not necessarily tight couplet that you would see when you're looking at a tornado situation like what we saw earlier around the Oelwein area. But we do have still the possibility that you could be seeing some really strong winds around here, around 60 miles an hour, and also quarter-size hail. And so that is going to be an issue there. And then we can kind of start to head further down to the south. And Winthrop, where Nick was, maybe still a little bit. It's not really all that, all
Not
that
seeing anything
tight
tight.
anymore.
Yeah, like a tight couplet. We saw that earlier today around the Oelwein area. There was a confirmed large tornado on the ground for several minutes before it lifted back up. It did produce some tree damage around the Oelwein area. Nick Stewart's heading up that way in the Road Warrior to investigate the extent of that damage. But again, these storms with some embedded rotation here and there, the Weather Service just not taking any chances. They're putting out some very large tornado warning polygons for everybody to take shelter, because these storms are going to be in your place very, very quickly, and are starting to see maybe a little bit tighter rotation there just to the north of Strawberry Point in Clayton County. And again, this system is heading north or northeast towards Cedar. So you can kind of see these darker blues and reds and greens right in here. Looks like a little bit of a tighter couplet where we'd see that rotation tightening up just a little bit. Don't have anything confirmed with this, but that doesn't mean this storm can't put down a tornado within seconds. So Osborne, you need to take shelter now. Again, there's Volga. This is to your southeast, moving away from you. But Cedar, also down towards Littleport, certainly need to take shelter from the storm. But right now, Osborne, you are in the path of the storm system, and you can see the rotation right in here. It certainly could drop down a tornado. If it hasn't right now, it could be very imminent with this storm.
And the National Weather Service is saying that the strongest rotation is right around that Volga area. They're no longer seeing evidence of a wall cloud right now, but they do still have the possibility that the rotation could pick back up at that area right there, heading toward Osborne, just east of Volga. I put this water for you, Brandon.
Oh, well, thank you.
But we are still going to continue to watch this because it is close to that warm front where a lot of the rotation is. And I did kind of want to show you this. I keep hitting the space bar, but I did want to show you this kind of the setup of what's going on today. We have a warm front that is continuing to lift to the north here. That is a zone where we have a lot of instability and a lot of wind shear, especially as area of low pressure continues to kind of eject further to the northeast. And as that happens, these storms just start spinning, and that has been evident all day long today. We've had multiple reports of tornadoes. We have seen confirmation in our area too, and we've had damage that happened. So even though we don't have a confirmation of a tornado on the ground right now, it can happen. It can happen quickly, and they're moving very fast as a result of the winds that are up above our heads, way up there, moving very, very fast today. So the good news is, too, that will send this line out of our area shortly, but for right now, we're still having to deal with them.
Pretty strong storm system here for late March, but there you see the area of low pressure. This is going to zip up into Minnesota and Wisconsin here as we head through the overnight hours. This cold front's going to pass through as well. That's going to bring a very, you're going to notice the change in winds out of the northwest. We're going to see gusts 40 to 50 miles per hour. Perhaps overnight, but early tomorrow morning and through the day. As this storm then moves up to the north, it's going to wrap in some moisture tomorrow. So we could see a few showers tomorrow morning. But the severe weather threat, I'm thinking maybe another hour, if that, because these storms are zipping right along, but they are tied right to this warm front. You can kind of see where these tornado warnings are, just around this warm front area. To the south of this, we're getting winds out of the south. That's driving in some warm air. Temperatures are in the 60s and 70s. Our dew point temperatures, how we measure the moisture, that kind of fuels these thunderstorms, that instability from the warm air and the moisture. You get that instability, which is, again, that's the fuel for these thunderstorms. We are seeing that down to the south today, and it's really tied to this warm front as it continues to lift to the north. But this cold front, this is going to pass here tonight, so I do expect these the severe threat to wind down here within about the next hour or so. And you can kind of see these are moving into northeast Iowa right now. They'll be out of Iowa here within about the next, I'd say, 30 to perhaps 45 minutes or so. These warnings do go out until 7:45. This one for Buchanan and Delaware County, pretty much taking up most of Delaware County. Again, from about Independence back towards Manchester. If you're in this area right now, certainly take shelter from this line of storms further to the north. You're noticing on the leading edge of this, could see wind gust of about 60 miles per hour, and certainly some areas of embedded rotation can't be ruled out with this as well. That's why the Weather Service does have a tornado warning for this part of Clayton County, from about Strawberry Point up towards Cedar, right around the Monona area, even back into parts of Fayette County as well. Oelwein, you're in the clear. That storm has passed you now. West Union, perhaps we saw a little bit of rotation up your way not too long ago, but you still want to be in your safe place right now for about another 10 10 or 15 minutes. But anywhere along the leading edge of this line of storms, that's something we're going to be closely watching for the potential of damaging wind gusts of 60 miles per hour, certainly some hail. These white dots are lightning. That is certainly something to look out for as well. Some dangerous and frequent lightning, certainly some heavier downpours with this storm system as well.
And if we could go to our P-scan actually, I did want to mention that there have been some power outage reports that have been going on, so that may be a little hard to see there, but Buchanan County reporting 144, Jessup 12, the Waterloo area 404, so that's kind of where there was an area where there was a tornado reported just near Hudson, so southwest of Waterloo, but they are saying that they're hoping to restore power there around 10 p.m. Hopefully that is the case, but we have seen very strong winds, as Nick was mentioning, on the backside of the storms too, so there could still be maybe some damage that happens behind it with these storms that come through the area, or even if we don't get a tornado, then we do have that damaging wind threat, as Brandon was mentioning there. And then we also have had reports of damage around the Oelwein area, of at least trees down around the west side of town there. So we can go back to the velocities here, but we at least have no reports of a tornado right now, but around Cedar.
Yeah, things are looking, you know, this certainly looks like it's tightening up a little bit as we'd like to take a look at our velocities. This is how we measure kind of the wind speeds within the thunderstorms themselves. And you can see here Cedar down through Highway 13. We're noticing some tight rotation just to the south of Cedar. Some more rotation here, even further to the south of that. So a couple areas of some tight rotation within this thunderstorm on the leading edge of this. So not only could you get wind gusts of 60 miles per hour, but certainly could drop a tornado, which could be imminent here. We don't have any confirmation of a tornado on the ground, but this storm has a history of producing tornadoes. They'll be on the ground for maybe just a matter of minutes, and then they go back in the clouds, and then they'll come back down. So again, that's something that we're closely watching, as well as the Weather Service. We do have that tornado warning. Again, Garnavillo, Littleport, Cedar, you are in the warning. If you are in anywhere in this red polygon, you need to take shelter right now. The storm is moving very quickly.
And this extends, you know, these warnings extend down to the south too, but not really seeing much in the terms of rotation further down to the south, kind of broad. So that is good that we're not seeing anything that would be indicating a tornado, but maybe seeing some lowering, or what we refer to as wall clouds, which is the precursor to all this happening, but lowering of the clouds and maybe some rotation happening. But I'm not seeing anything, at least down to the south here in Buchanan and Delaware, that would raise any red flags.
No, certainly seeing maybe some broader rotation, as you mentioned, perhaps some wall clouds within this line of storms, a little bit of rotation. If these were to tighten up a little bit, then perhaps we could get a tornado to develop. Here's the newest scan again. Kind of broad rotation just to the south of Backbone State Park here in Delaware County. So again, these are moving to the east, northeast. Delaware County is under a tornado warning, so take shelter here from this part of the storm, the leading edge of that, which is moving in. But again, nothing as far as tight rotation that we're seeing, just some broad areas here. We are seeing the greens and the reds kind of together. We would want to see these more darker greens, maybe some blues and some darker reds. Not seeing that, which is certainly good news. We don't, you know, we don't want any tornadoes today. So if this could stay fairly broad, if the rotation can just be, you know, a couple thousand feet above our heads, that's where we want it to stay. Certainly don't want any tornadoes today. Not looking like anything is imminent here in Delaware County. Of course, something we'll continue to watch.
Yeah, and there's just no new information right now, which is good for everyone. And I do want to say we are talking a lot, and we're just going to kind of have to repeat some things here because we are required to stay on for these tornado warnings. So we're still seeing rotation of what could be some strong storms. I mean, we've had damage that's happened today, so that's why it's going to be difficult for us to just let this go and say the threat's gone. But I mean, just seeing these colors here is...
Yeah, as long as there's a threat, as long as there's a threat today, we're going to be on the air. That's just what we have to do. So, and we're going to continue to do that. But we're looking at some strong areas of rotation, at least a couple of those. This storm has really intensified with its rotation. There you see Cedar. So just to the east and southeast of Cedar, where you're seeing these blues and reds and greens, a couple of those areas of rotation that we are seeing on the leading edge of this complex of storms. So again, could be pretty imminent here of a tornado perhaps touching down in Clayton County. So if you are in Clayton County now, certainly want to take cover if you are in this polygon. If we can back it out maybe a little bit and put the reflectivity, will kind of give an idea of where this is and where it's going. But you can see just these little kinks here in this line. This is where we're looking at some embedded rotation within those kinks. But if you are in Gaillard, Garnavillo, also Bridgeport between now and 7:39, this is going to move into then southwestern Wisconsin here within about the next 20 to 30 minutes or so. Then it will be out of our area. Then we can get back to a regular programming. But as long as this threat is still here in eastern Iowa, we're going to be on the air. I want to make sure everybody's heeding these warnings. We've been talking about it for a couple days now. The potential is there for tornadoes. A lot of the ingredients needed to produce tornadoes were coming together today. So this is why we're on the air. Tornado warnings are in effect. We've had reports of tornadoes that have done some damage in eastern Iowa, right around the Oelwein area. We're going to be investigating that here. Nick Stewart and the Road Warrior heading up that way right now. But you can see this line of storms really stretching down just to the north of Cedar Rapids. And if we go further down to the south, there you see some storms developing just to the east of Cedar Rapids. Of course, those aren't warned right now. Don't know if they're going to be warned. We'll just have to see how they come together. But right now, the two areas of interest are Delaware County, very far eastern Buchanan County, of course, Fayette County, as well as into Clayton.
Yeah, and they're just continuing these tornado warnings right now, and there's no new information. They have, let's see, they did let go of...
It looks like Fayette County.
Fayette County's totally gone, but we still do have these other two that go until 7:45.
Okay, so Fayette County, you are in the clear now. The storms have passed through you, so I don't see much of a severe weather threat for the rest of the night. But once these pass, they're moving to the northeast. Once these pass, our severe weather threat pretty much is gone here as we head through the rest of tonight. So that tornado watch, again, does go in effect until 9 o'clock. But these warnings, these should be out of eastern Iowa, I would say, by at least 8, if not sooner, because they're moving, they're zipping right along. 50 to 60 mile per hour is the storm motion, just how fast these are moving. But until they're gone, they're going to be producing at least the threat of a tornado. Don't have anything confirmed with these as of right now, but that doesn't mean they can't produce a tornado here within minutes. They have a history of certainly doing that as they are tracking through eastern Iowa. But you can see right now they're moving through at least central Clayton County. So if you are out ahead of this storm here in Clayton County, you are in this region. Hopefully you know where you are in Clayton County. You need to take shelter, as well as Delaware County, at least kind of north of Manchester, certainly need to be in your shelter place as well.
Yeah, and we do have a photo, maybe to bring some levity, that we have a rainbow on the backside of the storm there. And I was seeing this, I mean, Nick was showing that image of the rainbow going on, because we do have kind of these peaks of sunshine coming in on the backside. We actually have a lot of clearing happening, and you're probably feeling the gusty winds too, or at least hearing them outside. But that's just through Independence, where there are reports of not funnel clouds, but at least wall cloud. And Nick did have a funnel cloud close by, and there's a rainbow.
Pretty rainbow there, as you can see. That's an awesome picture there. Back to the radar. If you want to throw up the velocities, if you can, real quick, Rebecca, especially up around Decatur, that's where we're seeing those tight couplets, and we're kind of seeing still that little bit of, it may be of broadening out a little bit, but still looks a little bit tight around Decatur. You can kind of see this whole thing is rotating, so I won't be surprised if there is at least a wall cloud on this. That is a precursor to a tornado. There are times where it doesn't drop a tornado, but when you see a wall cloud, you know, okay, something could happen, and could happen very quickly. So we are seeing that broad area of rotation again, just to the east of Decatur, and this is moving to the northeast. So Garnavillo, this is heading right into your direction. So the time is now where you need to take shelter. These are moving 50 to 60 miles per hour, so they're going to be in your location very, very quickly, so you don't have a whole lot of time to act here today because of how fast these storms are zipping along. Here's the newest scan of our velocities, which kind of measures the spin and the rotation within these storms. And we're looking at these greens, these very bright greens, and these reds. And when you're kind of seeing these colors back to back like that, coming together, that indicates some rotation. So we are seeing that again just to the east of Cedar, maybe a little bit more, perhaps weak rotation just to the south of Farmersburg here in Clayton County.
Yeah, and we obviously had rotation, and I mean a tornado produced from this system in particular that came from the southeast of here and around the Oelwein area. So something to just be aware of there is that it has it does have the capability, but it is looking really more broad. But you could see some pretty strong gusty winds of 60 miles an hour, 65 miles an hour around that area, heading toward Garnavillo, Farmersburg, and then eventually would cross the Mississippi and be out of our area.
Yeah, so this is the leading edge here, but certainly once the storm passes, it's going to bring in some gusty winds back on behind it as well. So you're not necessarily in the clear until the whole thing is out of your area. But again, the leading edge right here into Clayton County. There you see Farmersburg. There's McGregor. It's going to be up in your area here within about, I'd say, the next 10 to maybe 20 minutes, or even quicker than that, considering how fast these are moving. But from Farmersburg, kind of down in this region right here between Cedar and Garnavillo, this is where we are monitoring the potential of a tornado. A tornado warning is in effect for this part of Clayton County. And you can kind of see the warning right here, Clayton until 7:45, so about another 25 minutes or so. And if we can go a little bit further to the south, I don't know if you're near the radar, Rebecca. Okay, go a little bit further to the south, see how the winds are looking down in this region. We do have a warning, tornado warning here for Delaware County, but not noticing anything as far as any tight rotation within this part of the storm, kind of some broader areas here into Delaware County. But again, this storm has the potential, has the history of producing tornadoes. It has done that over the last several hours. So the Weather Service really not taking any chances. That's why they've outlined a pretty big area here of Delaware County, maybe a little bit down here to the southeast of Winthrop. But again, anytime you're seeing these greens and reds together, that's just some areas of rotation. So we could see some numerous wall clouds within this area of the storm as it is pushing into Delaware County.
Yeah, and the Weather Service hasn't said anything about that warning quite yet, but we do have up to the north here still this continuing for the possibility too of a tornado, and also we could have some hail that gets up to around the size of quarters. So something to be aware of there, that you could still be dealing with these other threats, not just the tornado threat. So that's why we're not just saying like, okay, you know, just because we're not seeing the tight rotation right now, but as you were mentioning, we did have we have had tornadoes being produced. We've had some areas where we've had damage reported, and we're working on getting more information on that. But otherwise, now they've issued a new tornado warning for Jones and Lynn County here.
Okay.
So even further down to the south, that other storm we were talking about that went up around the Cedar Rapids area, at least to the east, you can see some of that rotation around Highway 1 just southeast of Springville.
Yeah, just southeast right here. This is where we're seeing the rotation. Again, this is for Jones and Lynn County. New tornado warning for 7:45. This is to the east, northeast of Cedar Rapids. So Cedar Rapids is not in this polygon. If you can go back to the reflectivity, we'll just show you where the polygon is. Okay, so here you see Cedar Rapids. So Cedar Rapids is in the clear of this, but again, Anamosa, you are in this tornado warning. So if you hear the sirens going off in your town, if your weather radios are going off in your house, you need to take shelter right now. This is not the time to waste. These storms are zipping right along. They're going to be in your area here very, very quickly. So pretty much from Lisbon all the way up into Jones County, Monticello looks like you are on the edge of this polygon. I still wouldn't take any chances. If you're in Monticello, I certainly would get into your safe place as well from this storm. But if you're in this polygon right here, in extreme eastern Lynn County into Jones County, you need to take shelter from this tornado warning, which is in effect, the time right there, until 7:45. So for about the next 20 to 25 minutes. But
right around the Martell area.
Yeah, right around Martell. So there's Martell right here. There's the rotation that we're watching. There you see Highway 1. So it's going to be crossing Highway 1. Very close to Martell here within the next several minutes, and it is tracking to the northeast. And with the current trajectory of how the polygon is laid out, it's going to be pretty close to Highway 151 here within about the next 10 minutes, I think, or so, and then eventually getting pretty close to the Anamosa area as well. And if we can put a tracker, at least a fan on this, just to kind of give you an idea of where this storm is going to be headed here in the next 20 to 25 minutes or so. So there you see Martel, Anamosa right around 7:30. So that gives you perhaps 8 minutes. I probably would think it's going to be a little bit less considering how fast this storm motion is. And of course, Edinburgh and Scotch Grove between now and 7:42. So the area of rotation again, right around the Martel area that you're seeing right here, and it's going to be approaching the Anamosa area between now and 7:30 in about the next 5 or 6 minutes.
Yeah, and there's at least no confirmation on this at the moment, but you can definitely see the rotation that's around the Martel area at the moment here. So definitely something we're just going to have to watch, and it's right around that Highway 1 and approaching Highway 151. So definitely something to be aware of there in between Springville and Anamosa right now, and that does go until 7:45.
Yeah, there you see, this is kind of what we're seeing in the rotation right there. There's some dark reds, a little bit of green right here. So this is kind of the area that we're watching. That's where the polygon was where it starts, was right around the Martel area. So this is going to continue to move to the northeast. There you see Highway 1. It's going to cross the intersection Highway 1 and 151 here. I'd say probably within the next 5 minutes, maybe 8 minutes, probably less than that. These storms really zipping along 50 to 60 miles per hour, and there you see Anamosa. So with its current path, again, Anamosa, it's going to get pretty close to you between now and 7:30. So here's the newest scan that we got in. It looks like it perhaps broadened out a little, weakened a little bit, but still not taking any chances today. There's so much spin in the atmosphere. That's one of the ingredients that we look for tornado potential. Is we call that wind shear. It's the change in direction from wind here at the surface. And the higher up in the atmosphere you go, up through 5,000 feet, to jet stream level, the altitude of planes fly, usually around 30, 40, 50,000 feet. The direction with the winds as it change with height from the surface up through those levels, as well as the wind speed. At that jet stream level, winds are about, I'd say, probably 100 to 120 miles per hour. So we're looking at that change of direction and wind speed, given it the rotation with the storms. But here's a live look at our Cedar Rapids sky cam here at Broadcast Park. And there you can kind of see those ominous looking clouds, creepy looking clouds there, and perhaps kind of a low cloud base right in through there. Maybe a little bit hard to see, but
it's you can definitely see it that we're looking to the east here. So you can see kind of that lowering going on. There's like the Marion Water Tower and such. So we're heading to the east here. So and you can also see that this is moving rather fast as it continues there. So there's rain going on here, some lowering happening here. No evidence of really a funnel cloud, which may be hard to pick up at this distance anyhow. But you can kind of see the towers going up on the backside of these clouds, because we have clouds that are sitting over Cedar Rapids, and then this storm is sitting well off to our east. So Cedar Rapids, you are not in this storm, and it's actually crossing into the Jones County line really rather quickly here too. So hopefully we can just watch, and hopefully the rotation loosens there. But the Weather Service did put that warning out because of the increase in the rotation in that area. Yeah, so this is east of Cedar Rapids, but you can kind of see where the sun is shining on those on the storm, the tops of the storms here. So that air is really rising. Still got quite a bit of instability even at this hour. So the air is rising rather quickly. So you're getting these thunderstorms really exploding, and with the amount of wind shear, they are rotating as well. But you can kind of see kind of right here the low cloud base, which extends. You can kind of see how far it extends. But again, we're looking at some rain here. Some of these darker colors getting kind of washed out here. This is looking to the east of Cedar Rapids here on our Broadcast Park Skycam. So Cedar Rapids, you're in the clear. These storms are well east here of the city. But again, if you're looking at this, you think, whoa, that looks pretty ominous. You know, what's going on? Well, again, looking at a lowering cloud base here with perhaps some heavy rain, something we are going to be keeping an eye on as this storm is moving into Jones County. That's how far away that we are looking right now, and we'll continue to keep an eye on this. We do have a tornado warning. If we can go back to, we'll go back to the radar here. So there you see Cedar Rapids. Here is where the tornado warning is.
Still a little bit in eastern Lynn County, but you know what? I think we're good to go there. This is more into Jones County right now until 7:45. There you see Anamosa, Monticello. You're right on the edge of the polygon, but take no chances. You certainly want to get into your safe place as well. And we'll put the velocities on. This is how we can kind of see if there's any rotation within the storm. We can kind of pick up the wind field. There you see Anamosa. We were looking kind of right here. Some broad rotation was a little bit tighter down around Martell. That's what prompted this tornado warning. Nothing confirmed on the ground, but that doesn't mean it can't produce one. These storms today have a history of producing tornadoes. So we're not Weather Service not taking any chances with the amount of spin in the atmosphere today. Certainly one can be produced, a tornado here with this storm. But there's Anamosa. There's the rotation. It's moving to the northeast. And Anamosa, we said around 7:30 is when you're going to, when this is going to get into your area. And you can see it's 7:28 now. So take cover if you are in Anamosa. And we got Nick Stewart. He's out in the Road Warrior. Last I heard you, Nick.
I think he's heading toward the Oelwein area. Nick, where are you right now? You're seeing some damage?
Yeah, right now we are in Oelwein, and we're kind of coming up on some damage here. This is kind of the Red Oak Park area on the west side of town. Definitely some trees down. They're using some construction equipment to try and clear the roads of trees. You can see there's certainly a number of people out kind of doing some storm surveying of exactly what happened in their community. But you can see they're using some kind of big equipment trying to clear off some of the branches. It appears some of the trees here did take a bit of damage from that potential tornado that moved through the air based on the reports that we had. We're going to continue to kind of see if we can find any other damage. Thankfully, it looks like power is on, and I don't see a lot of emergency crew flashing lights. So hopefully it looks like Oelwein got through this pretty unscathed, despite that very large tornado that was apparently close by.
If we could actually go to our P-Scan 2, as Nick, we were being told Nick had it. I actually did find too this video from David Schmidt on Twitter. You can see the sign for Oelwein there, and then you can also see the damage that has been done there with some trees down, so likely around that same area there, right around the park. And there are some other photos too, and there was an apartment building, it appears, that did have some damage and lots of trees down. So this is why we're still talking about this, because these storms have had a history of producing some damage and producing tornadoes. So we are going to have to just continue to watch these. We have so much spin in the atmosphere right now, and that the possibility now existing around the Jones County area, and actually rotation kind of tightening up a little bit, if I can get back to it, around the Anamosa area. You can check that out, Brandon.
Yeah, we'll go back to the radar here, and you can kind of see Anamosa, the rotation just to the south and east of Anamosa. I'm sorry, southwest of Anamosa. Rotation kind of tightening up just a little bit, as you mentioned there, Rebecca. So Anamosa, you are in the path of this storm. Certainly, you want to be in your safe place right now, basement if you have one, otherwise lower level interior room away from windows. As the storm continues to track into your direction. But again, the rotation just moving into the Anamosa area right now. In Jones County, you are under this tornado warning for at least another 15 minutes until 7:45, as these storms are zipping right along to the northeast. So Lynn County is expired from the warning. It was for far eastern Lynn County. Cedar Rapids was never in the polygon to start. But Anamosa, again, the rotation just to the south and west of the city. Here is the polygon. So again, if you are north and east of Anamosa, kind of right along Monticello within this polygon, you certainly want to take shelter from the storm. If you're south of Anamosa down here toward Morley, you probably are pretty good, but I'd still stay in shelter until this warning does get pulled or is canceled. But it's out until 7:45.
And that also would kind of continue toward the Monticello area, kind of on the eastern edge of that the warning area there. I did also want to mention that they've let go of the warning for Buchanan and Delaware County, so no longer an issue there. There's still some lightning going on around Manchester, maybe some small hail. And this tornado warning still does continue for Clayton County also until 7:45.
And we were seeing some of that tight rotation around the Elkader area, or just east of the Elkader area. Looks like it has weakened. Still maybe some rotation here, again, just east of Elkader. There you see Clayton, there's Guttenberg. So again, this is moving to the northeast. It should move to the north of Guttenberg. You were not in the polygon, but you can kind of see where the edge of this polygon is. And this is going to be moving into southwest Wisconsin. They already have a severe thunderstorm warning there for southwestern Wisconsin. So the tornado warning here until 7:45. Most likely this storm will be out of Clayton County by the time we do get to 7:45, as it is approaching the river pretty quickly. And it's crazy just how fast we've seen these storms move. They're moving 50 to 60 miles per hour. It just seemed like not very long ago this was back into Tama County, as well as into Fayette, Benton and Buchanan County, and now it's getting pretty close to the Mississippi River. So these are going to be out of eastern Iowa here, I'd say, by around 8 o'clock, and then that other one we're watching down into Jones County, that may actually lift into parts of Dubuque County here. So that's something we're going to have to watch here within about the next, I'd say 15 to perhaps 30 minutes or so.
Yeah, and we just are going to have to keep an eye on these things. I think this one, we're starting to definitely see some improvement up to the north here, and then down to the south, we've just had so much evidence today of wall clouds lowering, funnel clouds and such. But this rotation at least looks kind of broad, but it's strong. You have these two winds kind of clashing together right around Anamosa, west of 151.
Yeah, it's still there. It's still looking at some rotation right here just to the north of Anamosa. This is going to, it's pretty much paralleling 151, perhaps might cross 151 just to the south of Monticello, but here you see 151 right here. So probably seeing a wall cloud with this. We have no confirmation of a tornado on the ground, but that doesn't mean one can't be produced from this storm. We've seen multiple areas of rotation, and we've had tornado reports today across eastern Iowa, around the Oelwein area, as we showed you there. From the road warrior did produce at least some tree damage. It looks like some damage to an apartment building there as well. We saw tornado reports around the Hudson area, around in Blackhawk County, and there were also tornado reports in south central Iowa today as well. But looking at that area of rotation, again, just to the north of Anamosa, going to be crossing 151 between Monticello and Anamosa here within about, I'd say, the next 10 to 15 minutes.
And kind of just to take you out to the broader picture too, we don't have currently any confirmation of any tornadoes or at the moment on the ground, but as Brandon just mentioned, we have had confirmation today. And the setup here is just that we have this warm front that's out across the area. You can just literally see the spin on the satellite here. So I mean, it's crazy that you can just see what's going on, and that is continuing to now push off to the east and back to the west. You may still catch some rain showers, but we're going to largely be done with the severe threat once this line makes it east of the Mississippi.
Yeah, this is a severe threat right here. Once this is out of eastern Iowa, we're going to be good to go. This is just some spotty showers. It's going to bring in some gusty winds and even some cold temperatures. Even a little bit of snow looks like it's mixed in far northwestern Iowa. This is a pretty strong storm here for late March. A lot of dynamics coming into play today with this storm system. Of course, the severe weather out ahead of it. We got a warm front kind of draped right in this region. So these storms that track along the warm front, we're kind of seeing that enhanced rotation. And then there's a swirl. So there's area of low pressure. These are just some spotty showers here around that area of low pressure. So these are going to swing through then here as we head into the overnight hours, especially up in our northern counties. And once this pushes off into Wisconsin, a few more spotty showers are possible tomorrow. But look at the top wind gust. You can see 40 to 50 miles per hour so far. And these winds are going to be really gusty, not just tonight, but even through the day tomorrow, 40 to 50 miles per hour here across eastern Iowa. We'll go back to Nick Stewart now in the Road Warrior. He's got some more damage. Nick, where are you and what are you seeing right now?
So right now we're on the northwest side of Oelwein. I believe this is Buffalo Run Apartments. This is on 13th Avenue Northwest, just south of 40th Street. We're looking at an apartment complex there. You can see there is definitely some damage to the roof. I did speak to an officer here. He said he was not aware of any injuries. However, this apartment complex did apparently sustain some damage. You can see there's some roof damage there. And as I kind of pan down a little bit, you'll see some siding damage there on the right side of the building. And I zoom a little bit further down, you can kind of see actually windows are busted out there on that floor. So this apartment building did apparently sustain some damage, and we're going to try and get more particulars on that here on scene. But right now, we're not aware of any injuries, but this apartment building in Oelwein on the northwest side of town, 13th Avenue Northwest, just south of 40th Street, apparently took some damage.
Yeah, you can definitely see the roof damage there, also the siding there, just to the it looks like just to the right of that of those decks. So it looks like some significant damage there to that apartment building. Some windows being blown out as well. So hopefully everybody was in a safe place and got out of that unscathed. Something we'll be definitely following. But we did have confirmation, again, of a tornado down around the Oelwein area here earlier this evening. So there you see perhaps some of the resulting damage of that tornado. That did touch down. And it was from this storm right here, which does still have a tornado warning in effect until 7:45 for parts of Clayton County. There you see Oelwein, you are in the clear now. So this does extend down into Delaware County. The tornado warning has been canceled for Delaware County. Still could be some gusty winds around Manchester, but this is pushing off into Wisconsin. This storm has developed here within, about the last 30 to 45 minutes to the east of Cedar Rapids. Still got a tornado warning. Again, this is for Jones County until 7:45. And I don't know if we can zoom in a little bit.
They actually did cancel the warning for Jones.
Okay.
And so that was supposed to go till 7:45, and they are saying that they are going to let it expire.
Okay.
So it's kind of moving out of that warning box anyway, but we can check on the velocity there.
Yeah, we'll check on the spin here.
There's still a little bit going on.
Still a little bit of rotation, as you can see right now. This does go until 7:45, so I guess what they're not going to extend it. Is that what you're?
That's what they're saying. They're saying they're just going to kind of let it go, and there is still some rotation going on in that area. It's not particularly strong, but it's enough just west of 151 in between Anamosa and Monticello around Langworthy.
Yeah, kind of right in here is where we're seeing some of that broader rotation. Again, doesn't look like anything tight or significant. Maybe seeing a wall cloud with that. It's probably maybe a little bit disorganized. At least looking at our velocity radar here between Langworthy down towards Anamosa. There you see Highway 151. So the tornado warning going to expire at 7:45 with this particular cell. We also still have that tornado warning, which is still in effect for Clayton County. That is also until 7:45. The last velocity scan of our radar did show some weakening rotation, and it does still show a lot of weak rotation. Not seeing anything tight like what we saw around the Elkader area here within about the last half hour or so. But again, the storm system does continue to move through Clayton County. It's going to expire here at 7:45. I would imagine the Weather Service probably not going to let that one continue, as the storm pretty much going to be out of Clayton County. I would say at least the tornadic part of it within about the next 5 minutes. Still could see some gusty winds, some small hail, some heavy downpours, and certainly some lightning with this storm here for about, I'd say, about the next 20 to 30 minutes until it's all out of Clayton County.
The worst of it certainly moved out of there, so that's good news. But, and I also wanted to say, as we were talking about that, once this line moves out, we're done. The tornado warning has been expired for pretty much everybody, so that is certainly good news there, and just exists in the Far East where we still have those storms ongoing. And you may be saying, hey, we had no tornado watch up this way and we have warnings going on. Well, that's kind of the margin of error that goes on there. But as soon as we get out of this and we get these storms east of the Mississippi, it's going to happen, as Brandon said, in the next couple of minutes. We're going to be done with this severe threat, so that is great news, and this tornado watch certainly going to expire before 9 p.m. So we're already seeing it being let go. We're going to have some cooler air, the winds that start to pick up, and you're going to notice a change that happens as we head into the really the night, and even some snow is showing up on radar back to northwest Iowa. So, you know, changes are coming.
Yeah, I don't think we have to worry about the snow, though, but certainly tornado watch still in effect. Delaware, Dubuque, Jones, and Cedar County. So this goes until 9 9 o'clock, probably going to get canceled or pulled before then. Just still have a couple of storm cells around these areas that we're still going to be watching. This one in Jones County, again, that tornado warning is going to expire at 7:45. So we're going to have to watch this closely as it moves into Dubuque County to see if it perhaps maybe tightens up with some rotation. So certainly completely not out of the woods yet. One thing we do have going for us is it is after sunset, so a lot of that instability, especially in the lower half of the atmosphere here, at least the lower 1,000 kilometers or so, is the instability is starting to go away. It's starting to wane now that we don't have that daytime heating. But there's still a lot of wind shear, a lot of spin in the atmosphere. So that's why we've seen several tornado warnings today in these embedded areas of rotation within these storm cells. So that's why we're going to have to watch this one closely, although this warning will expire for Jones County. So we'll have to watch it as it moves into Dubuque County to see if perhaps it tightens up here before it pushes off into Wisconsin here as we head over about the next hour. So this storm cell again does continue in Clayton County. The warning until 7:45. It looks like again the bulk of this, the leading edge, is now into Wisconsin, but still could produce some gusty winds, some small hail, certainly some heavy downpours, and some lightning in Clayton and parts of northern Delaware County here for about the next 10 to perhaps 15 minutes.
And the only thing we got out of that is around Decatur, there was a report of quarter-size hail, which would be considered severe at that point, that it was up to 1 inch in diameter. And there was a report of a funnel cloud around St. Olaf in Clayton County at 7:15. So they're also deciding to expire that warning because there's not been any more confirmation with that. So they're saying that they're letting both of these go.
All right, so there you have it. So these tornado warnings will expire here at 7:45. We're going to keep a close eye on these. Again, this is moving into Wisconsin here. The one we'll keep a closer eye on is this one in northern Jones County as it moves into Dubuque County. If it does pick up in rotation, could perhaps put down an extra tornado warning in Dubuque County. We don't see that happening right now, but something we will continue to follow. But again, these will expire here in the next 3 minutes. We'll get you back to regular programming here, and if anything changes, we'll be sure to break back in, especially as these storms do continue to track to the northeast.